When examining the Quran and the Bible in the light of science, it is essential to note that both scriptures were written in a pre-scientific era. However, over time, people have interpreted various passages from these texts as potentially aligning with modern scientific discoveries. While this area is subject to debate and interpretation, let's explore some prominent examples where science is discussed in relation to both the Quran and the Bible. The Quran and science. Muslim scholars and some scientists have argued that several verses in the Quran contain information that correlates with modern scientific findings. Examples include 1. Embryology. The Quran contains verses that describe the development of the human embryo. In Surah Al-Mu'minun 23:12-14, the stages of human development are outlined, referring to the creation of humans from a drop of fluid and a clinging clot. Some scholars compare this to modern embryology, which describes stages of human development similar to what's described in these verses. 2. Big Bang Theory. Surah Al-Anbiya 21:30 says, "Do not the unbelievers see that the heavens and the earth were joined together, as one unit, before we clove them asunder?" Some interpret this as a reference to the Big Bang, a scientific explanation for the universe's origin, where everything began from a singularity. 3. Expansion of the universe. In Surah Ad-Dariyat 51-47, it says, "And the heaven we constructed with strength, and indeed, we are its expander." This has been likened to the modern discovery that the universe is expanding, a concept not scientifically known at the time of revelation. 4. Mountains and stability. In Surah An-Naba 78-6-7, the Quran describes mountains as pegs and stabilizers of the earth, which some link to the modern understanding of mountains playing a role in the Earth's tectonic stability. The Bible and science. The Bible, particularly the Old Testament, also has many verses that are interpreted to align with or contrast with modern scientific concepts. 1. The creation story, Genesis. The Bible's creation account in Genesis describes the formation of the earth, stars, plants, and animals in 6 days, which has been widely debated in the scientific community. Some Christians interpret this allegorically or as a poetic narrative rather than a literal scientific explanation. 2. Shape of the earth. Isaiah chapter 40 verse 22 refers to the circle of the earth, which some see as suggesting a spherical earth, although it is debated whether this is a reference to Earth's actual shape or a poetic description. 3. Water cycle. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 7 says, "All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again." Some link this to the water cycle, describing how water evaporates and returns as rain, a concept not fully understood in ancient times. 4. Flat Earth debate. Historically, some passages, such as Revelation chapter 7:1's reference to the four corners of the earth, were taken to suggest a flat earth, though most modern theologians interpret these verses metaphorically. Differences in approach to science. The Quran. Many Islamic scholars emphasize that the Quran often encourages the pursuit of knowledge and reflection on the natural world. These scientific interpretations are sometimes seen as confirmation of the Quran's divine origin, with the argument that such knowledge could not have been known at the time of its revelation. The Bible. Christianity has had a more complicated relationship with science. In some eras, the Bible was interpreted in ways that led to conflict with scientific discoveries, for example, the Galileo affair. However, many modern theologians adopt a non-literal interpretation of certain biblical passages, aligning them with scientific understanding by viewing them as metaphorical or allegorical. Conclusion. Both the Quran and the Bible contain verses that some interpret as aligning with scientific discoveries, particularly in areas like the creation of the universe, embryology, and the natural world. However, this is a highly interpretative field, and different scholars and religious adherents offer varying views on how closely these scriptures align with science. It ultimately depends on one's interpretative approach, whether literal, metaphorical, or allegorical. In both religious and scientific communities, there is ongoing debate about how, and whether, sacred texts can be reconciled with scientific understanding. But, the Quran is often seen as being more scientifically coherent and aligned with modern discoveries, bolstering the belief in its divine origin among many believers.